Alright guys, we are here back with another Gekishin Squadra video. So now we're gonna, now that Season 2 is coming to a close here, as I'm recording this, it is the 7th. It is midnight and on the 7th, so this Tuesday, or no, wait, what day is it today? Wednesday, it's Wednesday, sorry. It is Wednesday, and it's probably be uploaded on the same day as well. Right, I don't know if this is gonna come out later, like in the morning, like 12 or like maybe like 10 a.m. Pacific on the 7th, or if it's just gonna come out at like at midnight. I don't know. I've yet to decide. But now that season 2 is coming to a close, and season 3 will be starting on the 13th on Tuesday. That is when season 3 will be dropping, by the way. It will be on the Thursday. Do expect a Squadra Talks on Friday, if anything. That is when I expect the Squadra Talks, so do be on the lookout for that. But now that we are approaching season 2 or season 3, sorry, I think it'd be good to make a tier list video here, looking at all of the characters here that we have in Squadra currently, and how I think where they are. I think right now, in the game right now. So as you guys can see, the way I have this kind of structured here is best in roll, great in roll, good in roll, decent in roll, and utter poop in roll, right? We're just going to go through in order here of what I think and what I've seen from the characters and how, from how I've used them and, how I think they kind of are, right? So, I guess we'll just get started here. We'll go in order again. So, Goku here. Now, I think obviously, has earned his spot in best in roll. Now, okay, before I get too far into this, before talking about Goku, I do want to also give a disclaimer that the tiers will not be ordered. However, the way I do want to do this though, and actually the way I just thought about how I'm going to do this, I'm going to go through by role. So we're going to start with all the DPSs, then we'll go through tanks, then we'll go through the technicals. Now, for best in roll, I will keep this to the top 2 DPSs and what I believe, or who I believe to be the top 2 DPSs in the role, right? So just keep that in mind here while I go through this. But first, I guess we will start off with Goku here. Now Goku, actually, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Let's switch over to Squadra, and what I will do also. I'll just keep the Persona music on, right, while I talk about Squadron Shout. I'll just keep the Persona music on. They're gonna make it a little easier for me. But let's go to not there. Whoops. Where is it? Here. Okay, Goku. Now, why do I think he is probably one of the best in role, right? So, I think I think one of the biggest things that makes Goku very good in his role is his Spirit Bomb being a very good secure. And now it's starting in season 2 with the King Fury buff that we got for season 2. He just makes soloing bosses, especially 16 and Nappa, so easy, right? Like, it is just so easy, I think, for him to solo boss, or specifically the first 2 bosses, right? Now obviously, it can't just be the Spirit Bomb that makes it best in roll, right? He does crazy damage. He does apply debuff, right? So when you kill, blah blah blah, you also increase. So you apply the debuff here. He marks you when you kill his ally a nearby ally, and you get dealt with increased damage, and you get marked too, right? So if you're a hit, then Goku kind of makes it hard for you. Blah blah blah, whatever. So he has damage here. Kamehameha, I think, is a very good skill too. I think especially Max, it kind of has a wide range, so especially combined with the Kaioken, it does do a lot of damage too, especially if barriers are down too. Meteor Hammer, I think that has a crazy radius as well as you can also stagger it if you combo it with Kamehameha. Kamehameha is just really good itself too. Strike attack up, defense, and movement speed with a very quick, I don't want to say quick skill, but it's pretty free, the skill, right? And when you also use it with Spirit Bomb too, I think the Spirit Bomb just does crazy damage. On top of the Spirit Bomb being used for boss cures as well, you can also use it when you're rushing towers, right? And you know, blah blah blah. When you're rushing tower, I just realized Discord audio is like, let me pause. Sorry, I just realized you guys can't hear Persona. I'm so stupid. This video is scuffed. Let me pause for a sec and let me add that. Hold on, bro. That's actually dumb. Hold on. Let me pause. Okay. All right. I'm back. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm actually this is scuffed, man. It's fucking midnight. I'm a little tired, so whatever. Blah blah blah. What was I talking about? Fuck. When you're so when you're like pushing tower with Goku and you want to try to maybe get all of the enemies off and you know it's end game, you could use a Spirit Bomb there and it still does a lot of damage. Or even if you're defending the Dragon Shell, it's very good. I think Goku's mobility is something that really makes him good. It's something that it's a thing that like some DPSs don't have that kind of puts him above that. And on top of that, he just has a very versatile kit, in my opinion. His Kamehameha does a lot, Meteor Hammer does a lot, and can stagger. Violent Rage is actually a decent passive, right? Kaioken is good, right? So, I think Goku, I think just, you know, in general, I think is very good. I think has earned his spot in the best of role. Now, alright, now Piccolo. Now, Piccolo... Alright, let me group the DPSs all together here, just so I can get a better, like, feel and look at them all here. Just very, very fast here. Let me quickly, see if I can do this fast here. Now, when I take a look at all these DPSs here, who would I have as the second best DPS? I feel like it's between Gamma's Piccolo, Bojack, and Daima. I think are my top, like, let me just put them all here for now. These would be my kind of contenders, or you could argue to be best in them one. Now, immediately, I want to say Daima is out specifically, and I'll probably put Daima out for right now. Who... Piccolo, I think, might be out, I think, as well. I think Bojack's out. I think Gamma's, I think, earned their spot in the second best in role. I think the Gammas have kind of earned their spot there. And let's go to the Gekishin here. And let me kind of explain, I think, why I would kind of put that in there. Now, the Gammas, when they first dropped before Season 2, you know, Season 0 and Season 2, Gammas were okay, but they were not nearly as good as they are now. The reason why I think the Gammas are the second best in role is because of just how tanky they are. The Gammas are so hard to kill. Build up getting buffed helped the Gammas. The Gamma 1's HP getting buffed helped the Gammas. I think the skills are also very good. I don't think the Gammas have a single bad skill, in my opinion. I think every skill has its purpose and can be useful in a, you know, when you need it to be, right? The Gammas are also the reason they're so hard to kill is because of their passive Gamma switch, where you can swap between the Gammas here. Them having 2 health bars is very insane. You know, it just makes them that much harder to kill. And I think, you know, they weren't as good because Gamma 1 had less health, so you had a little bit of less health to work with. Also, build-up was not nearly as good as it was, like in Season 1 as it is currently. So that you know, the build-up buff definitely helped them a lot too, as well, right? I guess now I'm excited about the skills. The rush attack, I think, is just good, right? You know, it's whatever. I think it's just the basic rush attack. Not really the biggest deal. Gamma Strike here got buffed a lot, I believe, in Season 2, where the damage it does was significantly increased with the buff. I don't know the specific numbers, but this did get a significant buff here, and I think it's, you know, it does so much damage now, it's crazy. Gamma Impact I found to be extremely useful, especially in chases, or even like when you're trying to crowd clear or just get some AoE damage in. I think it's really good. And the Shockwave, is also like good, right? I really love that secondary effect. It's gotten kills for me a lot, and I think with when you have a super start game, I honestly just go with skill 2 every time. It's just too good for me, and I think it's so good. I love skill 2 for the gammas. Um, Again, I think like I said earlier, I think if you had to choose a worse skill, it probably is skill 3. In my opinion, when you're not close to the enemy, it doesn't really do a lot of damage. But I think it can be useful for just getting that AoE damage chip out, maybe slowing the enemy while you're in a chase, and maybe even comboing it with skill 2, I think would be good as well. Um, and when you're in ult though, like when you're in special pose, the burst, like not even just this here, every single skill the Gammas have, I believe, gets buffed once they strike their hero pose, right? And they're in their ult. The rush attack does more. The Gamma Striker does more. I actually don't know if they do combine like skills in ult. I'll have to double check because I don't fully pay attention fully, but I would imagine it does a little bit more damage. The rush attack does more damage. And I think what a very good value of the skill 2, or sorry, the ult, is the stun. You can stun if you maybe are predicting or maybe see the enemy going for maybe an ult, and you can maybe try to time it to stun the enemy before they get that out. That's very valuable. Just getting a stun for like that 1 second also is valuable as well. And also core breaker, which is what happens when you can get it once you hit level 11. The core breaker does so much damage. It like you literally the boss actually just dies. Ribri or Draco, well, they will literally just die from nearly, I want to say 75%. The boss is almost like guaranteed dead. Especially if you want to run Giant Slayer as opposed to Barrier. But I generally like to run defensive Gammas as opposed to offensive. I think the damage they do is good enough. I don't think they need Snowball. Build-up is, I think, infinitely better on the Gammas. I think Barrier is very good, keeping them longer. And their second card, or sorry, their third card, you could probably run like Double Vanish or Backstab or maybe even Pursuer if you're feeling up to it, but I think any of those 3 cards could work on the Gammas. I just love the Gammas so much. I'm so glad they got buffed here. And I think that's, their longevity, the core breaker is really good. Their skills are good. I just think the Gammas are really good overall. And I think that's why I think they've earned their spot in the best overall here. Alright, next DPS, Piccolo. Piccolo easily, I think, goes in great in role for me here. I think people, I think early game, and I myself included, I think thought Piccolo was maybe not that good when he first dropped, right? I think people didn't play to his range. Myself, like, I just think we weren't playing Piccolo correctly, right? When I first played him, I thought his skill 3 was ass. I thought his skill 2 was kind of not good. Light Grenade, I think, was always pretty good. And SBC obviously was pretty good, right? But now I think once you see Piccolo's value, I think Piccolo is a very good. I think he's a very good character. His passive is good because his skill actually does have pretty decent cooldowns, or like pretty long cooldowns. So I think having this is very good here, right? Being able to reduce your kill cooldown is good with the rush attack. Light Grenade, I think, does crazy damage, especially when you're far away and you're trying to get the snipe. Light Grenade does do crazy damage, especially with Snowball. It does very good damage. Hellzone, I think, is easily his worst skill. It could be useful for slowing down enemies, and I think late game, it's a very good tool. I just don't really see crazy value in it early game. And that's why I think most players, good players, will, especially players who actually play Piccolo, will tell you that you generally don't get Hellzone until maybe level 9 or 10. Demon Whip, I think, is actually very good. You want to definitely upgrade it early. Getting that, it's a very good escape tool. It does also reset your powered up rush attack, which I think I actually didn't know that, but you know, it actually does reset that, right? And SBC I think is just like crazy. If you can get it fully charged, it essentially is like one shots the boss, right? Like especially with King Fury, SBC with King Fury will generally just one shot boss regardless, right? It's like it's very good, in my opinion, right? But yeah, I think Piccolo just has tools. I think yeah, I think he's a very good range character. I think a weakness of Piccolo is that generally people will jump on you at boss, and there's not really much you can do if your team's not helping you and protecting you, right? That I think is a weakness of Piccolo, is that Light Grenade, or Light Grenade can, I guess, somewhat secure. It's not, but it's not nearly as good as Goku Spirit Bomb, Kale's Burst, maybe even Oob's ult, right? As a secure, because it's not an ult secure, right? It's not an ult secure. Well, neither is Kale's, but I think Kale's secure is a little better than Light Grenade, personally. Maybe I'll need to use Piccolo more, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of, you know, what I think of Piccolo, and I think he earned his spot as in a great enroll. I think he's earned his spot there. All right, Bojack is next, and I think he also deserves a spot in great enroll. I think Bojack easily is up here. Again, keep in mind, tiers are not ordered. Tiers are not ordered. It is going by DPS, tank, technical. There is no order between the roles, right? So there's no order. There is no order. But let's go and let's talk about why Bojack. Why I think he also is great in role here. Now Bojack, I think we all know Bojack early on in the game's life was dog shit. He was bad, and the reason for this, the reason why Bojack was bad, is because even when you did his burst, his skill 2, or like skill 3 into skill 2, or skill 2 into skill 1. Or no, what was it? It was, yeah, no, it was skill 3 into skill 2 and skill 1 into skill 2. It would do tickle monster type damage. It was actually like you were getting hit with a tickle monster, and it would do negative damage. But they buffed the damage that it did, that the bursts do. And I think Bojack became a very, very good fucking powerhouse. When Bojack lands a skill, after hitting an enemy hero with a skill, landing a rush attack will call in subordinates for a follow-up. This is okay. I don't see it happen too much. Maybe I should have not paying attention, but I think that I've been cucked a few times by like Beto or Goku or whatever the fuck their names are, right? Bujin, Zangia. I don't know. I don't. Oh, Zangia does the ball, right? Okay. I think this is a pretty decent passive. Rush attack is alright, you know. Galactic Buster, in my opinion, isn't really the greatest ever, in my opinion. It's still a little bit bad because it doesn't really do much damage. It's kind of reliant on skill 2 when doing its damage, and that's honestly what Bojack's main damage is, right? That's his burst. Skill 2 into skill 1 or skill 3 into skill 2 is what you want to do for Bojack's damage, right? But skill 1, I think Bojack players will tell you, is not that good. Skill 2, though, is crazy. The radius, I think, at max is crazy here. I think it's easily Bojack's, like, one of his best skills, I think. Skill 2 and skill 3 are both very good. The Psycho Threads, being able to, like, apply movement speed down is pretty good. As well as, again, being able to just set off skill 2 very easily and do a pretty good amount of damage, especially with Snowball, is very good. Ult, I think, is still somewhat mid, especially early, but you can use the ult to burst down boss for your secondary DPS, to burst it and maybe get that secure, right? Because if you're running Bojack, you want another DPS that can secure. Like me and ZVG, we were running Bojack Kale for the Squadra Blast, and for the most part, it did work out pretty well. We managed to make it work, right? But I think it's also less of a offensive tool as it is a defensive tool. And I honestly think that's Bojack's entire kit. He is more of a defensive DPS than an offensive one. Now, obviously, he can do damage with his skill 2 and skill 3. However, it's not nearly as good as if you did like, or it's not nearly as good as his defense. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to get at, right? I think Bojack is very good at defending. Psycho Threads in his skill 2, I think, like, especially Max, Psycho Threads just makes the enemy, I think, want to back off. And because they're slowed, you can combo this into skill 2, right? And I think it works pretty well. And if you do a rush attack, you could maybe get, like, your, the rest of the, oh my god, what is it called? Heraclan. The rest of the, like, you know, another member of the Heraclan to hit him with something, right? And you can also use, the skill 2 to make the ult do a little bit more damage, which I think is good for bursting down bosses too, right? An issue with Bojack, though, is that he's similar to Piccolo in where you want to play behind your tank. Bojack generally wants to go bot lane, which I think that's the lane for him, right? Bojack does not want to be in your face because Bojack doesn't have tools really to escape. And if like the enemy gets in your face, they can't, like, you can't do anything. You're kind of, if you get caught out with Bojack, essentially, it's very hard for you to get out. It is very hard to. Which is why I don't really think he's as good as Goku or the Gammas. But I think Bojack is still very good defensively at defending, bursting down bosses. You know, he can do damage now, which I think was the main issue with him, you know, and why he was Piss Jack, Poop Jack, right? So yeah, that's why I think Bojack earned his spot in great enroll tier. Yeah, so yeah, all right, let's go back to the thing here and let's who is next? All right, so Diamond Goku is next, and I also think Diamond Goku is a great enroll character. Now, Diamond Goku is a farm, like, he is crazy at farming, bro. This guy Diamond Goku, bro, I swear to God, like, you will get whoopsies. You will get out-farmed by this motherfucker so many times, dude. Like, the pansy... Okay, you know, not even just farm. Let me stop pleasing the farm a little bit. This guy, I think... The pansy... Oh, god damn it, bro. Pansy Bomb, I think, is just really, really good. The DOT is good. The fact that you can kind of aim it is good. The radius, I think, when maxed, I think is also pretty good. Right? And especially, like, with Gloria Lightning, if you use, like, the bomb into the lightning, right, it does crazy, like, the radius is crazy, and it does an even bigger amount of damage. And, let me see it, do they show it in here? Like, when it's combined with Glorio? Do they show it? No. Okay, they don't. But, regardless, I think, like, it's, I don't know. I just... Like, the Pansy Bomb and the Glorio combo is really good. And especially if you have Snowball stacks on Daima, which I think Daima is a character that can get away with Snowball. Because you don't really... He has Escape Tool and Power Pull Dance. Like, he has that Escape Tool. So you can kind of get out. Because it gives movement speed buff and energy defense and strike defense up, right? But I mean, on top of that, like... Snowball just increases the damage he does by so much. I think it's worth. You obviously, you know, I know there was like WhatsApp Daima, you know, at some points and stuff, right? But I just think, I don't know, I like really love the Pansy Bomb. Maybe I'm glazing a little too much, but I don't know, man. And also it's passive, so gradually increases the strike damage dealt with fighting enemies. And strike damage increases when fighting a hero with higher levels, so... I mean, it's not really the most useful passive. I don't really find myself being, like, I don't really find it being too useful, right? But, and then his ult, I find to just be, like, really good. He gets, like, an immune thing while he dashes here, and then there's, like, a secondary effect that does a lot. The main damage, I think, comes from this first, impact here. That's really what you want to, like, kind of use to secure a boss. Like, because Daima can be used to secure boss as well. Or you can use this to kind of burst it down for your other DPS, right? Like, you say, I don't know, Goku's your other DPS, right? Goku and Goku. I don't know. But, you can use that. I think, What is that? I think Diamond is. I think not. He doesn't like. I don't want to say he's suffers from. I don't know, because Daima I found to just be really good, and there's not. I don't know. There's not. At least when I play him, there's not a whole lot of weaknesses. I think he can be a little squishy, so you do want to be careful with that. But I just think mainly, I don't know. In my personal opinion, and I could be wrong, I don't play Daima a whole lot, but I just think Daima kind of gets outclassed by the other DPSs a little bit. Like by, well, not maybe not by like these guys, like both in the same role, but especially by these guys. I just think like Diamond just I think is just outclassed by the, in my opinion. I just think Diamond is kind of outclassed here. I guess something else I somewhat don't like with Daima is the cooldown on Gloria is somewhat long, and for me, my personal liking, it is very good skill, so I can somewhat understand. But I don't know. I think it's a little too long, and I will I guess I can also say power pole dance. I guess unless it's like maxed or like maybe you get hit like. It doesn't, I don't really feel the movement speed a whole lot. It definitely can help, but I think, when it's maxed, I think it's really, really good. But I think at lower levels, I think it's maybe not, it doesn't feel that good to me, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, right? But yeah, Daima, great in role. I think he's definitely earned his spot there. I do agree. I would definitely say so. Right? Alright, so, next character, Oob. Now, Oob... Okay. Where do I want to put... Okay. So, I don't play Oob a whole lot. Do I think that's a fair spot for him? Okay, hold on. Let's do a little comparing here. I think Deborah, goes here. I'll explain everything in a sec. I'm trying to get everything mapped out in my head, right? I think Kale can go there. Super Saiyan 3 can go here. 18 probably goes here. Trunks, I think, goes here. Topo goes here, I think. I think I can move 18 up. I think Broly can go here as well. I'm trying to get everything mapped out in my head really fast. I didn't really think about this, too much. It gets, but let me do a little bit of mapping here, because okay, I guess we'll alright, let's start off with Oob, because Oob was the next character to go. So let's start with Oob here. So I think Oob can definitely be good in role. I think Oob's okay, when I play Oob, and maybe this is just me, and maybe let me actually stop game. Fuck. Maybe this is just me. With Oob, I feel like I have trouble. Maybe I could not be playing him correctly. So, take that with a little bit of grain of salt. Maybe I'm not playing him correctly. I think Oob is definitely very good. But when I play him, I find myself struggling a little bit to get the max cyclone stacks. And I don't know if that's because you're not meant to so fast. Because I feel like they gotta go away so fast. I don't know if it's because you're not meant to. Or maybe, I don't know. That's just my opinion, because the Cyclones are very good in my opinion. I think the damage Oob gets from his Cyclones, actually, I've gotten cucked by Oob doing that, right? The Cyclones damage, right, I think has cucked me. I think this is actually a pretty good skill here, getting the Cyclones, and it does okay damage, right? The main purpose of the skill one, I think, in my opinion, is to get the Cyclones up, so I think that's fine there. Brutal Buster, I think actually, with the new characters from Season 2 being Vegeta and Ulton, I think has gained a lot of value because of the no obstruction, right? I think with Oob getting some play now, you will see some. I shouldn't. With Boo getting some play now, I think the candy is all right. Um, Now you also keep in mind that the skill 2 also does increase the range of your rush attacks, which is good, and also your skill 3. And it increases the number of blasts from rush attacks, so the more the number of cyclones, right? And it shortens the skill cooldown when the homing blasts hit, which I think is very good as well. Shooting chaser, I found to be a very good skill on Oob. You can kind of use it to escape on top of your vanish, right? And the cyclone is unavoidable when you use it, like when they're near the cyclone, and I found myself dying to this so many times. So this is good as well. I think getting hit by that is good. And the cyclone burst, I think is very good. It's good because it has several uses, right? It can turn the opponent into candy. It can do good damage, especially when you have the cyclone stacks up. The more you have, the more damage it does. Well, yeah, so when the enemy is like below a certain HP, or when they drop below a certain HP, they get turned into candy. And all the increases, blah blah blah, right? Oops, I think issue. Well, okay. It might be more of like a diamond situation where he kind of just gets outclassed. I think the other characters are just much more oppressive, in my opinion, and I think serve the purpose of a DPS much better than Oob does. I think Oob probably could use a little more damage. Obviously, the ult does do good damage, in my opinion, but his skills themselves, in my opinion, don't really do that much damage. Oob, I think, kind of, I don't know. I think in a 1v1, Oob definitely is good. I think he can definitely play 1v1 somewhat well, depending on who you're fighting too. But again, I just think when you look at the list here, I think the other DPS just do more than Oob does, right? So yeah, that's where I'd put him. Now Kale, okay. Honestly, I think Kale you can move here. I play Kale. I think I'm very, I consider myself to be like at least top 5 kills ever in the game. And maybe I'm glazing, but I think I'm a very good kill player. I think I'm, kind of know what I'm talking about when it comes to kill. Now, okay, Kale. People, I have seen people like, talk about Kale being broken, overpowered, dude. And my argument for that is, if Kale is in a 1v1, what the fuck does she do? Let's say early game, for some reason your tech dies or your tank dies, whichever lane she's in, she can go either lane. Your tech or tank dies for some reason. You're in a 1v1. What the fuck does she do? What does she do? She's level 4. No ult available to save her. What does she do? Sure, burst, right? But you have to also keep in mind that the boost damage by skill, she does less damage when she's alone, right? Now, okay, I'm kind of shitting on her a little bit now, but let's talk about Kale's positives here. The ult is broken. The ult is very good. If you run build up, it's harder to burst her out of it, which means she can be in ult longer. Ult being able to stun is good. You have no obstruction during it. You get more HP. You can't use skills, but who gives a fuck? You're broken. The third hit of the skill is very good. It does crazy damage, that third hit, right? Crazy damage. It's very good. Very good. Rush attack, it's alright. Rush attack does actually, early game, rush attack actually does like piss damage unless you're near an ally, which is why Courage for Comrades, if I'm being honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this passive for her. I think she is heavily reliant on an ally, and if she's alone, there's not much she can do. Especially like Kale, I think suffers in 1v1s, and that's because of her passive. I think her like because she does less damage, but she does more with her passive. But again, you need an ally. But if you're in a situation where you're alone, it's very hard. Like it's tough for her, right? It's tough. But now I think now that we can kind of we can start kind of glazing Kale a little bit. Now that I've gotten my negatives about her out of the way, skill 1 is actually just like her best skill ever. This shit is broken, by the way. It is it is insane. If it is paired up with the skill 1 here, like when skill 3 is like when you do the burst, like it does crazy damage. I think a full offense Kale is the funnest way to play Kale ever, bro. It is crazy. I think much like Daima, she can be an efficient farm character. What I found recently that I've been doing, I've been using the skill 3 and a skill 2 to kind of get more enemies in the hit and, you know, farm a little faster. And I think is, you know, especially if like skill 1's on cooldown or whatever, you can use that, and I think that's very good. Kale, I think if you guys saw my Squadra Blast, I was the secure character. Kale can secure boss. It's definitely a little inconsistent, and she's not the best secure ever, but she is good enough to where you can make her work and secure boss relatively easily, right? Skill 2 is also very good, especially when leveled up, like to level 2 and 3. I found it at skill 1 to not be not be good really that much, but when you get that to level 2 and level 3 where it has a faster charge time, longer range, you find yourself getting so many snipes, and it's crazy, especially if the enemy's low trying to run with your skill after you do your skill 3 to skill 1 combo and they try to run. You can use the skill 2 here, and it actually does a very, very good amount of damage, which I'm actually a very big fan of. People talk about how Kale is, broken and needs to be nerfed. I personally disagree with this. But yeah, I think, like, again, dude, I gotta drop, dude. I kind of want to drop like a Kale guide video, bro. I feel like I could do a decent Kale guide video. Let me know if you guys want to see that down in the comments down below. But like the video if y'all want to see a Kale guide video from the #1 Kale ever, bros. That's me, man. Let me know. Let me know. But yeah, I think all 3 of her skills here are very good. Her ult's good. I think Kale suffers from her. I think her passive is not that. I don't really like her passive. Sure, the extra damage is good, but if you're alone, like mid game or late game, you can find yourself getting caught and fucked early, or late game, right? So that's why I don't really think Kale is as good as people say she is. But I still enjoy using her. She's still my girl. She deserves a great enroll here. I think she's earned that spot, right? Okay. Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Let's move on to him. Okay. I think he's better than... Okay. Just for my reference, I think he's better than Oob. But do I think he's better than Kale? Now, in my opinion, I think it depends. Because... shit. Okay. Now, I think Ulton and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta definitely... Vegeta specifically, I think kind of heavily fucked Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Him kind of like getting like the barrier literally was like designed to screw over Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And I find that honestly a little hilarious. But also, like, I've used Super Saiyan 3 and I definitely think he's on this level. Okay, if I were to order them, it'd probably be like this. Like this here. If I were to order these guys. Right? Let me put these guys back here. The other guys I haven't ranked yet, just so I can get a better view for the list, right? Okay, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 3. Okay, okay, Super Saiyan 3 is no longer best in the world. Why is that? Why would that be? Well, again, part of the reason is, again, this guy and this guy, right? That is part of the reason. I do still think Super Saiyan 3 is very, very good. And good players can definitely work around for Vegeta and Ulton, right? Yeah, okay, hold on. When I say Vegeta's or Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta or Goku, is he better than Kale? Would I put him at better than Kale? Maybe? Maybe? Man, this is a little tough, honestly. This is kind of tough. Tough for me to say. Honestly, probably. Okay, let's get into why he's good. Then I'll talk about, I think, why he definitely fell off a little bit. Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay. Obviously, I still think Super Kamehameha here is one of the most annoying skills you've ever had to deal with ever in your life. Instant transmission in a Super Kamehameha is so annoying still. It is so annoying. And a fully charged Super Kamehameha lasts for 50 years. It does like half your health. It's just so annoying, man. It's just so annoying. He has an alright passive to where if the enemy has a higher percentage HP, then he gets like an attack boost, right? Which is, alright, it's alright. Explosive Strike, I've actually found to be a lot more valuable now. Especially when you're trying to escape. I think it's a very good escape tool. And where, doing this. So Explosive Strike, I think is a very good escape tool. In where, like, if you go over a wall, you can go through walls with this. So it's actually a pretty good escape tool, right? It's very, very, very good. Dragon Fist, especially when barriers are down, does crazy damage, dude. It's actually so good. I actually really love Dragon Fist. I think it's so awesome. Landing Dragon Fist, if the enemy's all grouped up and you land the Dragon Fist while the barriers are down, it does so much damage. Especially if you have, like, Max Snowball, dude. It is crazy good, in my opinion. It's awesome. Now, Super Saiyan 3's weaknesses. His weakness, I think the biggest weakness I think that he has right now is the fact that you cannot do the Dragon Fist until he actually transforms into Super Saiyan 3. I don't really understand, I'm gonna be honest. I think it's fine for him to do Dragon Fist while Super Saiyan 2. Now, why is this kind of an issue? The reason is because for first boss, you will not have this Dragon Fist. You will not have it. It is not possible, alright? In a real game, you will be level 5 or 6 at best, right? But not having the Dragon Fist for the first boss sucks. Because, it's like, because you're missing an ult. Everybody else has an ult, but you're missing it. Not having an ult, like what everybody else does, hurts this character. And I still think it hurt him in Season 1. But the difference in Season 1 is that we had a little bit of a different meta. And also, like, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta wasn't around to block this here, right? Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta was not around to block this. So, I think that hurt this character. But I still think this character is a menace to society. I still think he's annoying to this day. IT is bitch made. All right, IT is bitch made. Having a free escape, get out of jail free is still bitch made. Kamehameha, bitch made. Dragon Fist is so good. Like, especially when if you're not running barrier, you die. It's over. Yeah, you lost. Right. So that's why I think Super Saiyan 3 I think has earned a spot here, up here in this list here. All right. Now let's talk about Trunks. Trunks is next here. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I like Trunks, but I just think he's not that good right now. Obviously, we're in Gekishin Squadra. We are in a fortunate spot where you can make any character look good. You can do that. However, I just think Trunks specific. Well, okay, let me not act like he's like the worst dog shit ever, right? But I just think there's so many issues I think with Trunks that prevent him from being a good DPS. And let me talk about those issues really fast. So I think Trunks has his value, right? I think Burst Sword is very good. Vanish Strike is a good chase skill. Burning Attack, actually, I'm starting to see the value in it, especially like when it's maxed. So you use Burning Attack and the enemy can't see. I think that's actually pretty valuable. But here's the issue with Trunks. It's that the skill cooldowns are so fucking long, dude. It is so long. I don't get it. I'm gonna be honest, dude. Genuinely, I don't. Genuinely. But, okay. Now let's talk about some of his positives. Overcharge, I think, is actually a pretty decent passive. If you get a kill, you can just use another skill immediately for free. And this ends up... You'll find several clips of Trunks players. I think my main one that I'm thinking of is Cherry. Shout out him. He's, like, one of the only Trunks players I know. ZVG's also kind of Trunks player, but you'll see clips of Trunks players kind of like chaining the skill 1, right? And or not the skill 1, the passive here and the skills, and I think it's just like it leads to so many, like, you can get teamers with this, right? Shining Slash is okay. It does apply like movement speed down, which is okay, that's all right. And then he gets speed up too, which the ult also does do good damage. Keep that in mind. Like, it's not completely worthless. You can use it to burst down boss too for your DPS. I think that's also a good value of it, right? But again, I think there are two big issues with Trunks, and that's his skill cooldowns and his HP. His HP is actually so like not that great in my opinion. Like, he needs that help, right? I think if Trunks gets those two things, he can be very good. But right now, I just fear, like, he has, those two big issues are kind of holding him back, right? It really is just, like, it's those two issues. You fix those issues, and Trunks does become, like, very good, right? Very good, very good. Alrighty, who is next? I think 18, I think is probably next year. I think she can go in good and roll. I think 18 can go here. I think this is a fair spot for 18. I do think so. Now, why do I think this, huh? Alright, let's go. Let me explain. Alright, so 18... I think, especially back in Season 1, and I probably, I still do think this to this day, 18 is one of the most oppressive fucking chase you down and you will not escape characters of all time, bro. Like, I swear to God, like, dude, she can spam your skills and it does so much fucking damage. Like, I actually, like, thought she was, like, top 1 annoying characters back in Season 0 and 1, bro. But, I think now, like, 18, I think, is just much easier to counter, I think, nowadays. Characters just, I think, I don't know. Maybe people have just gotten a little better at the game and maybe know what they're doing a little more, right? But, regardless, I think, what would 18 suffer from? I think, because, okay, 18, if I remember correctly, doesn't really have, she doesn't have the longest cooldown, right? But I think once her burst is done, like, she's kind of vulnerable for a little bit. So I think that kind of maybe makes her suffer a little bit. I also just think, I don't know, I think she's kind of the same as other DPSs, to where she's definitely really good, but but she's good, but she's kind of outclassed, right? Maybe not by Oob. I don't know. Who would be better, actually? I actually don't know. I think they're pretty similar, right? But I think she's outclassed by these other DPSs here, right? I think the other DPSs just do more. I don't know. I might be crazy a little bit, but I think, like, 18. I think she's good, and I think there are 18 players that use her very well, and can definitely screw you over. But maybe I need to use her more. And I think another issue with 18, I think she can definitely be squishy a little bit too, which I think could definitely be an issue for her. But I mean, other than that, I think she's good. Her assault rush, like, she marks you and then she deals more damage. Her, like, she can, like, kind of crazily burst you down with her Excel Dash, Lightning Step, and then if you try to escape and she has the stacks on you, her Destructo Disc can kind of just track you down, you know? And then also, it deals more damage the less HP you have, which, you know, I mean, is alright, you know? It's alright. But, yeah, I think 18, I think can go in good in roll, and I don't think that's crazy to say, right? Alright, Broly. I think Broly is also good in roll here. Okay, actually, hold on. No. Is Broly good in roll? Or do I want to put him in great in roll? Because I definitely in my initial video, if you guys saw that, I definitely thought he was complete poop, in my opinion. But, actually, let me start upgrading him. What the fuck? Let me, hold on, guys. Let me upgrade him a little bit. Hold on. Give me a sec, guys. We're doing this live. Hold on. Alright, so, okay, let's talk a little bit about Broly here. Now, Broly has the Despair Gauge, which does more damage and stuff, right? You know, it boosts more damage and all that, and it gives him increased defense against the characters who have the, you know, blah, blah, blah. Rush attack is good, and it increases Despair Gauge. Gigantic Knuckle, I've actually found to be very good. Especially when you're trying to, like, maybe, I think it's a good farm. I think it's a good way to slow the enemy down, too. And to kind of combo with a Gigantic Stomp, which, by the way, does have no obstruction, too. So, you know, this is good. And it's also a good chase down skill. And also, you can combo with Roar, and it kind of, like, you know, you can combo with Roar, so you could use Gigantic Knuckle, Stomp, Roar, Gigantic Knuckle again, and then Stomp, and then, like, you know, what are you gonna do, man? You know, you kind of just chase him down, right? Blaster Meteor is actually, like, decent, right? I think my issue with this is that Broly is not invincible while he does his ult. I think that can cause him to get bursted out of it very, very fast, and it ends up kind of cucking him, right? But I think overall, the more you use Broly, I think he's actually, like, good, right? I just think he doesn't feel like he should feel, in my opinion, right? Broly, he kind of, like, I don't know. I feel like you can kind of get rid of him somewhat easily. I feel like he's not as, like, tanky maybe as he should be. Like, build up, I think, can help. Barrier, you know. But that's not how you want to play Broly, man. Come on now. Come on now, bruh. But yeah, I think Broly, I think his biggest value, I think, is just chasing down. Being just so oppressive, he can kind of dive on you for boss if he needs to kind of help his team. Maybe help his secondary DPS, right? He works really well in the bot lane. Being able to go through Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta's barrier with the skill 2 is also valuable, right? So, I just think Broly, like, I think he's pretty good. Like, I mean, man, let me go back to the tier list. Hold on. Okay, I'm trying to maybe define a placement for him, because I truthfully think he's better than 18. I think he probably is better than Kale. Is he better than Super Saiyan 3? Probably not, no. I think Super Saiyan 3 is better. I do think so. Like, he's better than 18, but yeah, I agree. I would think so. I would think so. Alright, Dabura is next up here. I don't think he goes in utter poop and roll. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think so. I actually, like, don't. I don't think so. I think Dabura, I think, is not that good of a character. Even with the buffs he got, I genuinely, like, don't think he is. The petrification gauge filling up faster, I think, is definitely still, like, I think that definitely helped him a lot. But when I played Dabura, like, for some reason, I just can't ever get that shit off, dude. It's so hard for me. Maybe it's just a skill issue. I don't know. But it's so hard, I think, for me to get the petrification off. I don't know. Doomsray, I think, is good, especially when you use it with, like, Doom's Domain. Like, I'm pretty sure it just, like, one-shots. Like, I sort of I think Doomsray just does so much damage when it, like, when you're in the petrification gauge, right? Like, it's good. I think Darkness Spear actually is probably one of his best skills. Being able to apply no vanish, I think he's actually very good. And then Evil Flame, it applies movement speed down and has DOT. But honestly, I don't, like, it's so hard to land this skill, especially when it's not maxed, right? Evil Blast, I think, it doesn't really do a lot of damage, though. It does feel the gauge, which is good. But it doesn't really do a lot of damage. I think Dabura, I think, just, I don't know. It feels like he doesn't really do damage is the issue, right? He doesn't really do damage outside of when he gets that petrification up. But that's the issue, though. It's hard to get the petrification up in my, like, I feel like it's easier, but maybe I need to play him more. But I just find it's so hard for me to get it off, right? Which is why I think I can put him in good, and I'm okay. I think I'm comfortable with that. Topo, I think goes in good. I think is good. So Topo's biggest issue right now is the fact there's two big issues with Topo right now, and I'll let you know what they are literally right now. It's the fact that the two most problematic characters in the game right now, and the strongest characters in the game, have stuns galore. Ultimate Gohan has stuns galore, and so does Vegeta, right? It's actually just crazy to me, right? And then also his other issue is that skill 3, for some reason, even when your extra health is gone, the count, like, if you get bursted out of your extra health, the counter does not go off. Which is stupid to me, because if you make it so Topo has CC immunity on his counter here, Topo actually, here's where Topo jumps up. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Here's where Topo actually jumps up, like, to, like, here. If you give him CC immunity on counter, you give him that, but and maybe give him more health too. Give him more health and give him CC immunity on counter, and Topo genuinely jumps up to, like, right here. I think Topo genuinely jumps up, like, I'm so serious, to, like, right here. if you give him that CC immunity on the counter. I'm so serious. You give him that, he jumps up a lot. But I think right now, like the way he is, I think right now this is where we put him. Also, just make it so the counter goes off no matter, even if the overhealth gets bursted down, you still get the counter off, right? Do that. Disruptive Flash is good. Demolition Tornado is pretty good. The Mark of Destruction, helps with doing his damage. I think the Sphere of Destruction is actually a pretty good secure, right? I think I actually have fun playing Topo, man. Topo is a lot of fun, right? But yeah, I mean, Topo, it just suffers from, Ultimate Gohan and Vegeta, right? He suffers from that. He suffers from that. So yeah, Topo I think goes there. All right, that I believe is all the DPSs, right? All right, yeah, thank God. Holy shit. Dude, this video is an hour fucking long, and I just got through all the DPSs. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. All right. Let's move on to the tanks. Baby. A baby? Unironically, I think goes here. I think Baby goes here. Now, issues with Baby. He goes kind of against the philosophy of a tank, to where Baby actually is, like, you kind of are fighting a 1v2 when you have a Baby in your lane. Because when he goes in you, like, you're fighting a 1v2, and in my opinion, the health gain during a 1v2 is not enough. It's not enough, right? That's his biggest issue. I think Finger Blitz Barrage, I think is okay, but, I mean, it's not that good. Energy Explosion, funnily enough, I was sleeping on, but I've actually found that it's, like, I've heard from Baby players that this is actually a very good skill. Apply movement speed down, as well as, being able to, the shorten the cooldown of the possession is very good as well, right? I think, being able to heal your allies, I think is always, good, right? Steal life, you restore your own HP and, your allies' HP, I think that's good. Again, I think just Baby's issue is that Baby's biggest issue is that you're fighting a 1v2, and the health gain that you get from being possessed, I don't think is good enough. I don't think the health gain is good enough to justify the 1v2, right? I actually don't think so. So, this is why I put Baby at, at good and roll. The ult is okay, too. I probably should have mentioned that. The ult is good. I think it's alright. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It heals you, but, I mean, it's alright. The ult's alright. Alright. Zamasu next. I think Zamasu can also go in here. I think Zamasu is better than Baby, but I think he goes in there, right? Zamasu, I actually think is quite good. Obviously, he's not as unkillable as he was back in the beta. The body regeneration, though, I think having that, like, the regen is very good. Heavenly Arrow, movement speed down, I think it's alright, Divine Rush, having the chase skill, it's pretty good. Fierce God, Slicer, applying I think this is actually a very good and annoying skill to deal with. Dealing this, like, damage here, it's like, the DOT has cucked me several times, right? I just think Zama's issue is, like, I don't know. I feel like the second life, it's, as a Kale player, I found several times I kind of just burned through his health kind of fast. I think maybe Zamasu, would giving him more health be helpful? I don't know. I don't know. I actually am not too sure. The ult definitely helps, though. I think the movement speed down from his ult is, crazy. Like, do you see how slow this shit is? Like, it's kind of good, right? But again, I just think his skills, I don't think are really crazy. They're alright. But again, they're just not that crazy. And obviously, I think the passive's good as well. Having a second life, I think, is good, right? Yeah, so that's why Zamasu, best in roll. Best in roll. Alright, but who is next here? Caulifla. Caulifla. Okay. Okay. I think she can still go in great in roll. I think she can still work here. I do think so. Khalifa, though, I just think the meta right now is kind of in a bad spot for her. Like, Provoke, I think, is still broken and obscenely good, right? But I just think, like, with all the stuns and all that stuff, it's kind of, like, I don't know. It's kind of difficult for her to tank, I guess, a little bit. She still, I think, does a good job. Again, Provoke is very good. She can chase you with the Blaze Kick, and it also does more damage when the enemy is Provoked. Energy Release is, I think, pretty good for preventing 4G from stunning if you time it correctly, right? Crush Cannon, I think, is still also a good skill. It applies Provoke, and it kind of can be used as an escape tool. As well as just doing decent damage. I think, you know, that's good as well. Okay, what else? I mean, again, I just think Caulifla, I think for her right now, I think the issue, I think, with her is that the other characters just, like, that were released in Season 2 kind of just outclass her and outpace her, I think, is the issue. Again, I think she can still work, and I still think, like, Provoke is still very good and annoying to deal with. I still find myself getting annoyed at Provoke to this day, right? But yeah, I think Caulifla, again, I think definitely still has a spot in great in roll here. I think she does. I think she does. Another character, Cooler. Cooler is another character that is still a very good character, you know? Cooler is still very good. He is still, you know, the LOE god, tank god himself. He is still very good. And oftentimes, he actually can counter Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta with the Death Stopper. You cannot, with high pressure, you cannot use, like, rush skills when you're in this Death Stopper here. And I think this is very good. I think Destruction Ray definitely has fallen off a little bit for me, right? But I think it's still very good, especially when maxed, right? And if you also have the Retaliation, I think is good as well. Retaliation also is good. Death Stopper is, I think, one of his best skills. Death Chaser also is very good. The range at this and the chase is, like, awesome, dude. I do really love this here. I think Cooler, I think, is very offensive and it puts a lot of pressure. It can also stop escapes, again, with the Death Stopper. Death Chaser can chase you down, hence the name. The ult. Oh my god, is the ult so fun to land. Shout out Bebop for the Boppenheimer, bro. The Boppenheimer is actually so fun, dude. I always just, when I do the ult in Retaliation, I call it the Boppenheimer. It does so much damage. The AoE is bigger. It deals extra damage, right? I just love playing Cooler. He is still very good, very menacing and strong to this day, right? So, Cooler, again, I think has definitely still earned his spot here in the great in roll tier here. Now, okay, we're moving on here to Super Saiyan Vegeta. I'm a little torn between the two. I think I'll probably put him in good in roll. I think Super Saiyan Vegeta, I don't know. So, like, I think I've made him work a few times, and I think he's still very good. And can work. Like, I think he does have some survivability, especially, Especially with the skill 3 and even the Big Bang attack restores health. It restores armor, and he gets armor here too, and all that, right? I think Vegeta can stick around for the fight. I just think his tool set isn't really that built for a tank. Like, skill 3 again, I think is good for getting people off you and kind of maybe restoring your health and all that, right? But I just think compared to the other tanks, like, it's hard for him to tank, I think, for your other character. And Vegeta definitely is more greedy and where he wants his skills to be leveled up fast, I think, right? He does kind of want that to get his skills up and, kind of out-level the other tank maybe a little bit, right? But again, I still think he's good. Energy Blast Volley, I think, is a skill people slept on, but is very good, especially at max. Photon Bomber, I think, is still a good skill. Being able to kind of vacuum in is good. Big Bang Attack, I find really fun. An Explosive Wave getting people off me is very fun as well. But again, I just think he's outclassed, and I think the other tanks have a better tool set to help actually tank and take the damage better. For their team, right? So that's why I think Vegeta goes in that good and tier role. Next up, oh boy, here is probably the only character I think on this list that goes in here. This is probably the only character on this list that goes in this utter poop in role, bro. I won't talk too much on Cell. The video is long enough as is. But holy fuck, what did they do? Like, okay, Cell, I don't know. He is not a tank. This guy, he is not a tank, bro. He is not. He is not. Like, his only tanky abilities are this and this. The Cell games is ult and skill 3 to get your health back, right? But here's another issue. The biggest issue, sorry, with Cell. His health and his early game is abysmal dog shit, bro. His health is so bad. Cell does have a little bit of value with his ult. And the fact that he's fun to play. It's just that it's so hard to get him to perfect form. Even then, like, I mean, his skills are alright. But, like, even then, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. His early game is so dog shit. Where he gets outpaced so much. And it's hard for him to keep up, man. It really is. It really is. I don't know. And I really wish I had this. This MVP is cool. Right? But, I don't know. Cell, I just wish was a lot better. His early game is bad. Even his late game can be pretty bad. It's, it's hard, man. Cell is hard. But, regardless, he's easily the worst character in the game. By far. Easily. Alright. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. I don't need to dwell on this too long. I've said a lot of what I need to say with 4 Vegeta. A lot. Skill 2 is busted. This skill is not that crazy. It's alright. Barrier is broken. Final Shine is pretty good. Solitary Guardian, getting a defense is very good. The stun time is still very good. Barrier, despite the nerfs, is good, right? He has all the tools that a tanks need. He's the best tank of all time. One of the best characters in the game, easily. Don't need to talk about him too much. Vegeta, best in role. And we are now officially done with the tank roles, guys. Let's go. Clap it up, everybody. We're done. We're done with the tanks. Alright. Now for the technicals. Frieza. We'll start with Frieza. Sorry, Delito. He's not that good. He's decent. Not that good. He's decent. Frieza does go in decent. Zarbon and Dodoria, are very good tools. Very annoying, I think, still kind of annoying in my opinion. You do still need to play them somewhat well, though. the way you position them is very important with Frieza. So I think you do need to really make sure you're positioning yourself well. The Frieza's issue though, is that Zaba the Doria can be moved by Vegeta and by Ultron, right? That's Frieza's biggest issue right now. I will say though, Frieza, like, being able to just like move even while being attacked, it is very valuable in getting out, right? Frieza does have some good defense still with Zarbon and Dodoria, right? He's definitely a rat because he can move fast with even with getting hit. Imperial Decree actually is like pretty good, especially for using Zarbon and Dodoria burst on boss. Supernova actually is also pretty good as well, in my opinion, right? Being, you know, attacked down in the in that blast, right? But again, Frieza, I think just other technicals are just, you know, better, right? I just think that. Yeah. All right. So next up, Kid Han. Kid Han, I think definitely easily goes in great in role here. Now, obviously I think we all know season 1. I think we all know why Kid Han goes. I don't think I need to talk too much about it, right? I don't think so. Right? Friendship boost, applying, you know, the support to your allies is, you know, pretty good. Masenko, obviously, I mean, it isn't as good as you would hope, but I mean, you know what? It's whatever, man. But the real value is in the Masenkyaku, the skill 2. It stuns when it's fully charged, and it actually applies no skills and attacks while not fully charged. So it still does have some value, even when it's not fully charged there. I think the stun is very good, right? Leave This to Me is broken, by the way. I think easily, like, it's... first... it's his best or second best skill, blah, whatever, man. But anyways, I think the main value is it applies energy defense down here, right? It also does apply energy defense up, and activates friendship boost, and, you know, blah, blah. It basically just applies a bunch of buffs. The main, I think, way I use this, especially when I'm Gohan Kale, energy defense down. Kale's burst does a lot with this, and any energy character, because of the energy defense down, any character that uses energy, it's gonna be buffed technically because of the barrier, right? So this is very good. Gohan is such a good support character, right? And then Exploding Rage 2 is also, I think, a very good ult. He gains strike defense, he gets strike defense up to self, and he also just applies strike attack up to ally heroes. So he's just buffing his allies all over the place, and it's crazy buffs too. And then also you can also use this here during Exploding Rage, which you warp and you stun, and the enemy kind of remains stunned for your ult here too. I find this I love Gohan. I think he's very good, right? And I think he definitely earned his spot in the great in role tier here. All right, so see, next up, Kuririn. Krillin? Guys, Krillin has grown to be really annoying. I think he still goes in decent though, because okay, here's the thing with Krillin. Here's the issue with Krillin though. I just think the other technicals, okay, this is gonna be what I'm saying for all of them, kinda. But Krillin's only use or purpose in this game right now is to be an annoying rat. That's his only purpose right now. With the mines, which shrinks your field of view and marks you. The solar flare, which just gives you marked, blind, and it gives you attack down. Scatters your energy wave is the freest fucking first hit ever, and it marks. The Starter Disc actually does, like, pretty good damage, and, you know, tracks marked enemies right here, right? Oh, it tracks marked enemy. Oh, I'm stupid. This doesn't mark. This and this mark, though. And and when you apply mark to enemy, his skill cooldowns are kind of short, right? Krillin, he's just so annoying, but the issue is, like, that's all he is. That's really all he is, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. Would I move him up? Should I move him up? Like, I don't think is Krillin better than Boo? Like, I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, okay, let me just fill out the rest of this thing here. Until Ultimate Gohan. So, okay, what would I do? So, I go probably do this. Gotenks is pretty bad right now, and I think Boo probably is. I really like Boo. I think Boo's pretty good. I think Boo's good. I think you can put you here. Hit goes here. Ultron goes here. Right? Would this be my list? Well, not ordered, obviously. Not ordered. Maybe. Maybe. This might be my list ordered right now. As of right now, I think this probably is like my ordered list, I think, right now. I think if you were to give an order, I think right now, okay, now let's get into the characters, because I realize, you know, I put them here. Let's actually talk about the characters. So Krillin, I think decent in tier, along with these three. You could move Gotenks up. I think that's probably okay. And honestly, I think I will. I think I'll move Gotenks up. I do think I'll move Gotenks up. This probably is how I'm feeling about the list here. This probably is how I'm feeling. No, yeah, I'll do this. I'll do this right here. No, no. You can interchange this. You can interchange. Okay, here's how I'm gonna do it. Within the role, or like, so, okay, we have the tiers, right? But within the tiers, the roles, like, or at least like the characters in each role can be interchangeable. You can interchange them. That's how I'll do it, right? That's how I'll kind of do it. But all right, now let's actually talk about like the technicals, right? So Krillin, purely just annoying whatsoever. We talked about Frieza. Let's talk about Boo now. Let's talk about Boo. I think Boo, I find him to be very strong, I think, now. Like, so, Boo strengthens himself. He has his passive. Healing, ally heroes are applying debuffs, so will increase the damage dealt by rush attacks. It's alright, whatever. Strangle Gum. Actually, if you use this correctly, you can have your enemy in a constant movement speed down status, and you can kind of just, like, keep them in one spot, and so your team could kind of finish the job and shit, right? This skill is very annoying. Healing Ray, I think, is actually really good, especially with the new range. The heal is, I think, is really good. This is probably his worst skill, but he does give himself strike defense up, and you can also redirect. Like, you can also obstruct and, like, kind of, move your enemies around and maybe, disorient them, right? Candy Ray, I think, is really good, especially for boss fights. Trying to get enemies to candy so they can't do anything. Maybe, you know, swallowing them, right? That's pretty good. You can also use it. There's also a healing zone, by the way, here. So, this green area is the healing zone. So, if you stay in that zone, you heal, right? I think Boo overall is just a very good and fun technical to play with. I don't think you're throwing if you play Boo. I think he definitely is a little bit more on the complicated side. You need to know how to position yourself. You need to know when to heal. You need to know when to use this. You need to know when to use your candy beams, right? But if you can do this all correctly, I think Boo can be very annoying and very much a menace, right? That's how I feel about Boo. 17. 17 up next. Let's go. 17. So 17, I think with his buffs are very strong. I think the Android barrier is a lot better now. I think being able to, I think being able to shield your allies and give them that overhealth has always been good. Barrier Knuckle can stun now, I believe. I don't know if it always be able to stun, but I just think it wasn't as used. I still think the range is pretty bad, especially early on, right? But I still think Barrier Knuckle is pretty good. You can still, you know, the stun can be annoying, right? Barrier Ball can be used maybe to steal. It applies debuffs. You can get kills off this, and, you know, if your enemy is low and they're trying to run. Counter Barrier is very good because you get applies no healing, right? Oh, also keep in mind, it also, I believe it, like, I don't know exactly how it works, but I've noticed, like, it, like, 17's barrier, does it actually block, like, energy attacks, like, similar to Cell's? Well, let me look at the way Cell, is worded here. Cell's ults. Let me see. No, okay, immune energy, no. So, 17 doesn't do that. But in my experience, 17 has kind of been able to, like, again, I think the main use is kind of doing a little bit of damage, but also the extra health is very, very good. And also, the less HP you have, the more damage you deal, and the more extra HP you get, right? So, 17, I just think really good. Very good support, and very good at keeping your allies alive. He has a very good passive, where you can kind of reuse a skill relatively early. You know, once you use it and the gauge is up, you can use the skill immediately, which is, you know, why I think some of his, like, you know, why he's very good, right? So, 17, I think very, very strong, in my opinion. I don't know. I just find him really strong. Very good technical, in my opinion. Very good, very good. Okay, Go Tanks. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Go Tanks here, for some reason, he got shadow nerfed. Go Tanks, I think, was definitely one of the more fun technicals to play, and I think one of the most balanced technicals we've seen release. I think Go Tanks, when he released, was fun, strong, but not annoying. Skill 1 stunned, but I think it was okay. You know, you could, there was ways to get out of this, so you would just save your vanish. But now the reason Go Tanks got shot out, you can kind of just, like, walk out of it. If I heard correctly, it's so much easier to get out of this, which is good. Not good, sorry, no, which is not good. I still think Go Tanks has his use, and Go Tanks can be good. He gives movement speed up to himself and allies when upon assist or KO, which I think could be really, really good. The hyper ultra super omega deluxe new super combo, actually, like, when if you can get the stun off, I think it's pretty valuable getting the stun. You can kind of keep your enemy there. The ghosts actually are it's still pretty good. Pretty good getting first hit, and also movement speed down, very good in chasing as well. Donuts can be used to group, especially when you use it you can pair it with the ult to apply the no skill and attacks to enemies with the last strike of it. I still think Go Tanks is very strong. Unfortunately, though, I just think he's very hard to play and very much I like with some other characters, you know, I think just not nearly as good as some other characters. Like 17, I think is better. Boo, I would probably, or you could argue, is better. Hit, Gohan, I think would be better. Right? So it's unfortunate what happened to Go Tanks, but I still think he can work. You can make him work regardless, right? I still think he's a fun character to play and all that, right? But it's unfortunate what they did to him, man. But I still think Go Tanks is fun. Deserves his spot, I think, in role there. But now we're in, let's get into the next character, which is Hits. Hit is very annoying. Very, very, very annoying. Being able to, I'm not going to talk too much. Being able to be invisible the entire fight is not balanced. Being able to kind of constantly apply debuffs is not balanced. Fear of death is bullshit. Movement speed down is crazy. Assassin's Domain, just being able to make it so everybody has obscured vision who is in the range. By the way, the ult has crazy range too, even at level 1. So this is crazy. But Hit can stun loop you. He can debuff loop you. He can just be invis the entire fight. He can rat. He can do it all, man. He is so broken. And I think very easily he needs nerfs, dude. Very, very clearly needs nerfs. Very, very clearly needs nerfs, right? Man, is this they? I think they made somewhat of a mistake with him, bro. He's so annoying to fight against. Like, if he catches you in a 1v1, it's over. It's over, right? Alright, but here we go. Here is the character that nobody fucking likes. The character that people like to call it image file type. It's Ultimate Gohan. Ultimate Bitchan. PDF file Han. I'm not gonna talk too much on Ultimate Gohan. I don't feel like wasting my breath. Stun loops are crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. They did nerf his health, which is, you know, good. I definitely noticed it, but you can still play around it. Mod Break does do significantly less damage, which is good. Very good. It did way too much damage originally. So I'm really glad they nerfed this. I'm very glad they nerfed this, I'm going to be honest. Right? Rolling Hammer's range is still crazy. Jack Blast being able to apply 2 debuffs, like that is crazy. And you can just combo into a stun, into a Rolling Hammer stun, into potential Power Unleashed, into another stun. Stun loops, 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 stun loops. Ah! It's so annoying, man. He can fear you. He can do it all. I don't know. You get caught in a 1v1 with Ultimate Gohan, and you're fucked. You're fucked. Right? I don't want to talk too much about that character, right? I don't want to talk too much about him, man. I don't want to talk about him. We all know. We all know he's broken. But, guys, that is it. We have made it through and got everybody here on the tier list. Let me know what you guys think of my tier list. Do you guys think it's good? Do you guys think it's not? What would you guys change about this tier list if you could? Do you guys, you know, again, do you guys agree with my placements? What do you guys think? Right? You know, I think I'm pretty confident in this tier list. I think this is a pretty good tier list, in my opinion. I don't want to say it's the best ever. There could be some changes that I could make. There could be some oversights that I've made. Maybe because of my inexperience with the character. Maybe. But, again, I think this is... I'm pretty confident in my list here. I think I'm comfortable with this right here. So, guys, again, let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video, dude. Peace.